now I fully know what I'm gonna say. I thought about it. I didn't even sleep last night. I slept for like 2 hours. I need to know how am I gonna articulate this? And then it hit me. Stormzy's upset being bullied by older people.
Yeah.
And Wiley's upset with Tinchy Strider, Tiny Temper, Digital Rascal,
Them guys.
whoever else has come in grime, done grime for a period of time. When they can make a more commercial sound that appeals to more people, fuck off. He's just upset with that.
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
And then they do nothing for grime. So if you say you fuck off, that's Skepta, he's not doing some commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody better on the show he's there. Every underground thing he's there. So he's still finding the compromise with everyone in the world might not know grime, but the community of grime still know this man.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that and saying I'm this big global guy and then coming back to the grime world, which is much smaller, and saying let me just bring some more people over here. Imagine we've got this room here and we need as much people here as possible. I need to keep going because I'm poet. I can convince the people in the other room to come. So I run to the room. Like, come in this room. Come in this room.
Yeah.
Stormzy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Tinchy didn't do that. Tiny didn't do that. But Wiley does that. He'll do this big song boasty and then go and clash Stormzy and make grime rhythms. He's just bringing loads of people to grime. Like, come here everyone. Come. And he doesn't care how he does it. He's the type of man. He's the Joker. He'll find the most sinister way to make his point. The most sinister way. He doesn't give a shit who he hurts because the most important thing is he's gonna say, I need to fill up grime. Because once I know grime can make millions, I can chill out. But until then, I can't chill out because I'm a millionaire. Stormzy, you're a millionaire, but you're a millionaire of pop world, but you keep saying grime. So now everyone's going to think that's grime, which means this world that I've actually created is going to die because no one's going to think this is grime. You've got the loudest voice and you're saying that's grime. We're fucked. How do we do this? Fuck it, I'll clash you. You're not grime, you're shit, you're this, you're that. Now what are you saying? And then I bring loads. And
I have to stop you though, because Stormzy doesn't always... Stormzy's the first person to say that he doesn't just make grime though. And he's never just made grime.
100 million%.
So like people might misinterpret what he's doing as grime, but he never says that.
Because he's talking culture clash. He's talking video shoots. So grime world said, come Stormzy, let's grow together. And for whatever reason, Stormzy walked away. He used it for whatever he wanted to do. And I'm not saying it's wrong, he's a young kid, do the fuck you want. But he soaked that in. He soaked that in. Kanye West on stage, he got brought by Skepta. He soaked all of that in. And now he's being blinded by your grace. Like, if I knew you were going to do that the whole time,
I think it's a bit
I
harsh.
don't think I would.
I get what you're saying, but I think
he's
it's
not wrong for it. He's not actually wrong, Chucky. He can do what the fuck he wants. No one can't tell him nothing.
But the way that it's being said, is that he's done something wrong.
No, he's done something wrong because if you look at it on broad scale, he's not intentionally gone out and said I'm going to do this to grime. But grime is such a sensitive world which is underappreciated. If you're not here for the long run, you can't be here for 4 months. You can't be here for a year. We're not that big yet.
But he's been here from the beginning though.
No, he's been Stormzy from the beginning.
Yeah.
He's made music from the beginning.
Exactly.
But the first world, it wasn't the trap world.
No.
It wasn't the rap world.
No.
It wasn't the singing world. The first world to say, come, let's roll, was what?
Was grime.
And he now doesn't make grime.
He does make grime.
Come on, fam, the last...
Bro, have you heard his album? His album, like, you may not like it, but he's got like 5 grime songs on his album. But it's not a grime album.
So then I might as well say Lady Sovereign made grime.
That's a different conversation.
My conversation is the grime that he makes is not authentic grime. It's compromised.
Doesn't matter, it's grime.
It does
Wiley flow sounds grime to me, bro.
Wiley flows are sent at Wiley. So that's all just like, Wiley flows are sent at Wiley. And I don't blame him.
I hear that.
I don't blame him.
I hear that still.
And I'm not saying he's wrong, you know. You're thinking that...
But I'm saying that he makes grime though. Whether we think it's authentic or not.
Do you know
what? Do you know what?
Shut up was grime.
Do you know what though?
Shut up
Some people will just say that...
When do you know we're grime?
Like, this is just old people conversation now. Because
No,
it doesn't sound as how it sounds, like how traditionally it sounds back in the day, but it's grime.
Because grime is grime.
It's
I
grime
can't just
though.
make whatever I want and call it. I didn't make grime.
But he's making grime, bro.
Fam, I listened to that and I said, what the fuck?
Fam, this is like,
it's
it
like
might not be good.
It's like calling Macklemore hip hop. Like, that will hurt
Bro,
me.
this is what I think that you're getting mixed up here. Yeah. What is grime and what is good? You might think that what he's making is not good, but it's grime.
No, but he is capable. It's like if you're making something watered down, like it's like when I go to, I don't know, let's go think of, if I go Rum Kitchen.
Yeah.
Man can't tell me it's not a Jamaican dish. But it's not a Jamaican dish.
I know what you mean, but
like,
that's
you
still...
know what I wouldn't... But you're trying to... But it's still in a Jamaican restaurant.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I get that.
There's rice and peas, there's chicken.
I get that.
And all the elements of what is considered Jamaican food. But we all know there's just a little recipe that mummy knows that makes it like your mum will make it and you're like, yeah, this is authentic.
It's grime though. I can't lie to you. He's making grime.
Wiley flow might be grime, but the rest of it, cuz, is I've listened to
But
it.
but the thing is,
he's
it's not like, this is the thing, yeah. It's not like, I know that he came through with grime, but his projects have always been what it has been. It's not like he's changed. His projects have never changed. In fact,
I know.
Dreamer's Disease only had one grime record on it.
I remember you saying this a long time ago in the podcast that when you first listened to Stormzy, there was no grime on it. Oh, there was one. One grime song on it. I remember it. But this is my thing. Circumstances change. Now I can say to you, Stormzy has every right to walk away from World of Grime.
I don't think he's walked away from
it. In terms of, no, the World of Grime isn't 140 BPM song on your album. The World of Grime is the
culture,
the jammers and all the culture. And I don't fucking blame him. If I was him, I would have walked years ago.
I don't think you would have walked away.
Oh, I would have. Do you know why? Because
you're still here.
He's the prodigal son. No, but I'm giving circumstances. Because he's got so much attention on him. Yeah. Because he's so big. Everyone's putting all this pressure on him that he has to carry this whole thing and consistently be loyal to it. Says who?
Well,
he don't have to do that.
Also, though.
Who won't?
Also, don't you think that, like, when I analyse Stormzy's career, really, especially from now up to then, personally, I've never heard him just claim him just being grime.
Not at all.
But one thing I've always seen him be is unapologetically black.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that is his thing, more important than anything.
But the thing is, I think that's a different conversation.
What I'm saying is that I think that if there's anything that he would outrightly come out and claim, is that. But I don't think he would disagree with people saying you're not like 100% grime, because I don't think he even considers himself that anyway. I think. Do you know what I think? Yeah, I think that this is what I think. I think Stormzy thinks. Yeah. Or Stormzy grew up in an environment where obviously that's just what people listen to and you took part in it or whatever, and he did it. He so happened to be good at it or whatever. But at the same time, he is inspired by a lot of different things, and he's used that from the absolute get-go. So, for example, I don't know if he went to church when he was young, but let's just say, for argument's sake, he did. Yeah. So, boom, he's gone church from the get-go, and so now when he starts doing his project, he uses elements of that. Yeah. He uses elements of all of these. Like he always talks about his sisters listening to R&B music and all that type of shit. Does. So he's like grabbed all of these influences, but his foundation of obviously where he's come from is grime. Yeah. Yeah. But he's still grabbed everything that he likes, and he's trying to make the best that he can out of all of that. And I don't think that he's ever claimed anything other than the blackness. That's
why I say to you, Kano's beats on his first album were all 140. But it's a grime album.
Well, no, on his first album, it wasn't.
It wasn't all 140.
It wasn't, no, because his intro was his intro he was rapping.
So, but it's still one of the best grime albums.
Yes,
but do you know why? It's the ingredients, my brother. It's just a little bit of seasoning. It's the way he packages it. It's the way he operates. The way Stormzy operates is a very rude boy.
Just
black
while we're
man.
here, quickly, this was the intro.
Rude boy.
By the way, yeah, I remember.
Oh wait, is this all recorded?
Oh,
no rules. Listen, this. Don't talk to me about Kano. I
remember, this was like
obviously Wiley,
but when. Do you remember when Kano and Wiley was in the basement and they was going back and they was going back and forth at each other years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like floating around. That was like in Jammer's basement anyway. Yeah.
Shout out
Them two was like going back and forth for time. Then. Where I felt like Kano got Wiley at that time was when it got to the part where they were rapping. Because that was the part where I realised, oh shit, this guy can actually rap.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So then anyway, Kano starts creating a buzz, all of these type of things. The album Home Sweet Home comes out, and then the intro.
Are you mad?
I can't remember where I was when I first heard this, yeah?
I do.
But I just remember how I felt when I first heard it. And I thought, like, one of us doing this. And also, the beat wasn't like a typical, even though the beat was super slowed down, it wasn't like an American rap beat. It was like one of the man them's gone in the studio and done like a 95 BPM thing. Just for those who don't know.
But you can't play a lot of it, you get taken out.
Doesn't matter.
No rules.
Watch him now. Watch him.
Zigzags in the bright lights. I hate being in the limelight, but I love being on the page or on the stage at prime time.
Also, just for an element of geekiness here, yeah. See when you slow it down to like a 95 or 100 BPM, and you start using like certain lyrics or whatever, it's your lyrics sound so separated if you don't do it properly. Like when you're sitting on the rhythm properly, it's very different. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like the flow, you have to use the flow, the way that you deliver the words and that.
I do.
Just a little bit more.
I'm having none, so I find fights, one every 5 nights. And I ain't weak, I can rhyme tight, but just let me let the beat say something for a second. That fine, Mike. You know, vice versa, man.
Oh my god, it's hit me, Chucky.
But yeah, the rest of it was pretty much grime.
It's hit me. 9 to 5 is the best song of that album for me. It changed my life. Do you know what? It's hit me.
Whatever happened to Demon?
He's done. One time we done That's a Rap. Went to the barber shop. He was in the back. He didn't want to be spoken to. He's out.
Serious?
Yeah, I respect it.
So can I just interrupt you one last time?
Do what you want, man. There's no rules.
It's just one of those days. Typical me. Typical club scene. Typical grief.
See,
now, this is what I'm going to say to you. Don't. Because now we're going to smash up the whole thing. Because you know what gets onto the remix?
Track is hard.
You didn't even know what gets onto the remix. He just went mad.
you know what? Let me see.
Please went mad.
Play.
But this is what I'm going to say to you, Chucky. It's just hit me again. Oh, fuck. This all might be our generation's fault.
Really?
Yes. It's just hit me. No one should be angry at Stormzy. All the sends are a waste of time. This is all a waste of time. It's just hit me. I think something different now.
Go on.
That world that Kano made that album in doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean by just the temperature. Like when you went to events and you always felt a little bit on edge, and you know what I'm talking about. That allows you to create that sonic.
Yeah.
That's not the world we live in no more. Which means Stormzy couldn't make something like that. Which means this is the most he could probably do. This is the most anyone could probably do.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in terms of going to make a great album and do what it needs to do. The only problem for me is it doesn't sit in the places that I would like Stormzy's music to sit.
Okay.
I don't hear it in the barbershops. I don't hear it when you're hoovering. I'm not saying I know every one black person in the world, but I'm just saying I speak to enough people. I have a large group of people. I go to a lot of people's houses and so on and so forth to just hear things in passing. And I don't. But this track, cuz
I think I understand what you mean as well.
Do you understand what I mean?
Just on
but it's
this
not that
point,
it's bad.
Just on this point as well, yeah. I think one of the reasons why that might be is, and maybe it's unfair to do this because we just listened to Kano's Home Sweet Home, yeah. So it's unfair to make the comparison, but I'm just having to do this anyway, yeah. I think the difference is that like the commercial side, or the stuff that went commercial from Kano's album back then, was still very much. But I think with Stormzy's, a lot of the stuff that everyone kind of talks about, really, like from the broader scale, is usually like the Blinded by Your Graces, the maybe the song with Ed, because obviously Ed is who he is, isn't it? And then obviously a few bits and pieces here and there. So that element of like grit is still there, but there's a lot of the evident commercial sounding stuff, which might be one of the reasons why it doesn't live in the barbershop the same way something like this would have lived in the barbershop.
Do you know where I'm coming from? Because even Getz knows. When Getz does Getz for me, I'm just going to smash everything in my house and close down my children. But when there's all this sort of other stuff, which is still good, it doesn't, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just because of me, who I am. It just doesn't sit with me the same way as I would listen to Getz unapologetic.
Never feel guilty for feeling like something is not for you.
But I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I have to make this very clear.
Okay.
I do not want to hurt people's feelings under any circumstances, whether it's the truth or nothing. I just don't want to do it. I'm tired. I've been poet
There's a
for
difference
15, though. No, but Chucky, I've done this thing for 14 years.
Yeah.
I've upset a lot of people. I'm genuinely, for myself personally, exhausted of that responsibility. So I'd rather someone else do it. I don't want to always be the antagonizer. I'm tired that it's like I am the bad guy. The only time people call me is if there's a conversation that no one else is going to talk about because they know I don't care, and I'll talk about it. So then the reputation I have is poet's a troublemaker. Like I'm just really tired of that. That affects me so full circle. So it's like I want to make it very clear. I'm not here to upset anyone. I'm not here to get RTs and more likes. I don't care about any of that.
Same.
What I am here is to protect the one thing that has allowed me to feed my friends, my family, which is this culture, this whatever it is, whatever it's defined by. I call it grime purely because where I come from. So when I see certain things happening, I'm like, I get it. If people begin to think that certain songs are an interpretation of grime, where does that leave the people who authentically love grime and are trying to make grime to become commercial? Because their title and their sonic is being changed by a commercial market and no one's doing anything about it. So someone kind of has to go, fuck this, man's on this fighting thing.
Well, let me just say this here. Firstly, there's a difference between personal taste and being able to understand how things work. So your personal taste might not gravitate to something, and that's fine. Like you should not be shot down for not liking something or for liking something. But also understanding how things work is a different thing. There's bare times where like I understand how certain things work, it's just not for me. But if we're sitting down and having a conversation about it, I'll explain to you or we'll express to each other how we feel about it. So there's a difference there, innit? Also, the second thing is as well, which I was saying after we finished recording the last time, is that one thing I think that Stormzy has been able to do, which I think is a good thing to a degree too, is that like the example that I used of how Drake's albums are. So when you get a Drake album, you have certain types of people that listen to Drake's album a certain way. And then you have other people that listen to Drake's album a certain type of way too. I always use the example of me sitting in the car with someone and they were like, yeah, let's listen to this Drake album. I'm like, cool. And they've listened to every single song that I do not like off this album. Personally, honestly, I'm a super Drake fan. So I make no qualms with that. But if I'm honest, I don't always love the singing stuff. I don't love the slow jammy stuff. There's like certain songs on Drake's album that I've actually just never listened to all the way through. Maybe the first time I actually did, just talking about it, was his last album, Scorpion. I listened to like because I like some of the slow jammy stuff on there, and maybe that's because he's getting better at it, in my opinion. Yeah, but like that's just not really what I like him when he's rapping, and I think that what Stormzy is trying to do, whether he's successful in doing it or not, is that he's trying to give an element of everything that he loves in one project, but also trying to give enough for every one of his fans. So if you are a grime fan, then there's 5 songs for you. If you are about equality and all of these type of stuff, there's like 3 songs on there for you. If you're about the church thing, there's a couple songs for you.
Stormzy is just about being a black man in the hood, and I think he does it very well.
Yeah,
I think he does it very, very.
That's the only thing that I genuinely feel. I could be wrong, but that's the only thing that I feel like he actually claims. And that's my unapologetic blackness. Oh yeah. Everything else, like I'm here for because I love doing the music and I love music as a whole. But I don't see him like fully. Like I don't see him as the guy that's like I'm the spokesman for it. He just so happens to be in his. And we're gonna go through the decade, yeah. You look at like how things were 10 years ago to how it is now. He just so happens to be the guy who is at the pinnacle of this. Yeah. Like he said this. Sorry, it's one thing just before you go. He's actually said in interviews that like he has reaped the benefits of the struggles that everyone else has gone through, and I think he feels. There's one question that I actually wanted to. Shall I say it now, or someone might teeth the question still?
No, don't say it now. If you're not now, bro. Cool. If you got something, say it, fam.
All right, cool. One of the questions that I actually want to ask, if someone asks this question afterwards, I know where it comes from. But boom,
you're a tramp. I can tell you right now, you're a tramp.
And one of the questions I actually want to ask him is if he ever feels an element of survivor's guilt.
Well, I get that.
Do you understand what I mean? What I mean by that question? That. So because when I heard him say that, like, I have reaped the benefits of like people's struggles. Some people have struggled and not necessarily been able to come through in that same way and you know, change their family's life, their friends' lives and all of that. There's levels and layers to a scene that ends up taking it to a place where it can end up being like how it is now, yeah? And he's now the guy. So when you're the guy now and you look down and you're like, yeah, there's a scene full of people that are completely doing their thing and smashing it or whatever. But there's also like a lot of people that put their life and soul into this thing and went jail. Man went jail and you can't even see them again now.
Man got stabbed, man got shot.
Man got stabbed, man got shot, got beaten up, went on top of the roof and shit to put thing on the transmitter on the thing, got arrested, chased by police. As I said, gone jail. Things didn't happen for them. Made sacrifice to a point now where it's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore because I got to. You know what I mean? I got to find some money for my youth. I got to do all of these things. But they still, all of these people, yeah, whether it be a lot or a little, they all contributed to making it how it is now. So when you're sitting at the top, that's where that question kind of comes from. You know, when you look back and you think, rah, like, look at my life and look at what I've managed to get from all of this. Is there an element of survivor's guilt in there? And that's just the question I would like to ask.
We should all have survivor's guilt because we're all at the top in comparison to the first generation of black people that came to this country. But you still got black man telling man, suck your mum on the internet. You still got black man out here stabbing each other. Yeah. So if Stormzy's got survivor's guilt, I hope all of us have survivor's guilt because the first generation of ethnic minorities to come to this country had to go through some shit.
Yeah, of course.
Some real shit for me to be sitting in here making a little podcast with my black friends, like, friend. Do you know what I mean? Like I think if that is a question you're posing for him, I think a lot of us should ask ourselves that same question because it's very easy to narrow it down to grime or to a genre of music. But when you open it up and you take a look at it in life, that's when I say, even if Stormzy was doing something bad, or even if Stormzy was claiming a sonic that he doesn't epitomise, I just think as a 25-year-old man, there's much better things he's doing than that. And I kind of think you just got to leave him alone. I just think young people should be allowed to make mistakes. I think the older generation of people should leave them. And if they need advice, let them come to you and talk to you. But all of this sort of, why are you not doing this and why are you not doing that? Your mum used to ask you that question when you were 25. You ignored it, but now you've got older and you're just shouting at everyone that's young and you're expecting them to listen. Bro, I genuinely feel the way young people are treated in not just this scene, but just in general, I actually don't like it. And I've been a perpetrator of it. I've been someone that's kind of been the person that's made it more difficult for young people to grow. And I just can't do it no more in any aspect of anything. That's why I can't laugh at a man telling a 25-year-old man, suck your mum. Because me at 25, there's nothing funny about that.
No, I hear that.
Yeah, I'll put on a brave face for the cameras. Yeah, I'll laugh. But bro, like, I'm 25 years old. That woman's done everything for me. And a man saying, suck your mum.
Yeah, so
I used to do that for the first
year in our society.
That's not cool,
them
bro.
Type of things.
It's not cool, bro. And you should know that because the boy's 25. If man told me suck your mum at this age, the most I would say is I stopped breastfeeding a long time ago. Like I'm not really gonna get. I don't really care, and I'm not suggesting that Stormzy does really care. But if he does care, as a 25-year-old man, I just think he has every right to care about what an older man is saying down to you. And that's where I think it's just all confusing to me. Let young people make the mistakes, have grown conversations with them, or have things that you do, Chucky, like when you the way you put things across in the podcast is so good. Like no one should feel offended by what you're saying. They should phone you and say, oh, can we have a conversation about it? I get why people will be offended by what I say. I'm a bit cheeky. But with you, I don't get it. So it's like, I think we need more examples of what you do and what Vuj does and other people in order to like sort of bridge the gap between these youngers and olders, because essentially the older generation has kind of segregated themselves. If they created a safe space for people to come into,
I feel like the older generations always do that type of shit
all
sometimes.
the time.
I remember like hearing from like
Fuck
like
off.
the garage lot was doing it to when So Solid and them was coming through. You know, Mega will talk a lot about that. Well, I don't even know if he actually proper talks in depth about that, but I know that there was like certain DJs that were embracing them. Like there was like a DJ called Martin Lana that was embracing like So Solid and all of that. Yeah, and there was a few DJs that was doing it, but there was like other DJs and MCs and that were holding meetings, bro. Holding meetings to stop So Solid from eating a food, stopping them from doing that.
Prep.
Huh?
A vegan prep. You can't have a meeting in there. That makes sense.
Yeah, bro.
That's
It's
what
kinda
you
deep.
serious?
Bro, it's deep. Do you know what?
That's terrible.
Megan's due to come on here from a long time anyway.
But that's terrible, Chucky.
Of course. But all of that is just speaking to like the older generation having some type of issue with what's new and what's happening or the sound changing. That's one thing that like people, like, I understand that to a degree because sometimes it's super precious to certain people or whatever. But you know what? we have to accept in life things evolve, man.
Is Wiley Eminem then? You know, Eminem used to cuss Mariah Carey and NSYNC, and it was more of a way of saying, don't brand me with them. I'm rap. I am not pop. Is Wiley just cussing Stormzy like, you know what? I'm grime, innit? Don't call him grime. Them man are not grime. Like, even if one person says it, like, he doesn't really care, but he's just like, let me make this very clear. I'm grime. Them man ain't grime. I'm going to cuss him. Even if I lose, it don't matter. At least you now know I'm grime and he's not. Is that his reason for doing it, you reckon?
A small percentage. I think Eminem's whole thing was really
rebellious.
Yes, a rebellious, seeking attention, and a marketing plan. Because
wow,
he came
just
through,
giving me 3 things that I think Wiley is: rebellious, he's seeking attention, and he's got a new album out.
Shit, he's not wrong.
I hear that still, but
I'm not saying he's Eminem full body.
I get.
Yeah.
When I say the seeking attention, I meant like the levels of seeking attention that Eminem went to is just super extreme.
But Wiley went on Instagram 3 days ago and done A, B, C,
oh,
D.
No!
Seeking attention? My nigga.
Did you see his other video as well where they said, who won one more round?
Somebody
said one more round.
Do you know what?
I love Wiley.
I love him. But I love Stormzy. But I just don't love some of the things that Wiley does, because I just think he's one of the most educated people in our scene. He's one of the smartest people. He should be at a label and tell you how to grow artists and so on. He's so intelligent. And I'm just like, with all that information, maybe that's just not.
Is he now just rich and just like
bored and like, you know, like some rich people are cunts, but there's still truth in what they say.
Yeah.
So I think Wiley actually has a lot of truth in what he says.
Yeah.
He just needs to find the person to go and talk. Tell J2K he has a great way of speaking and communicating, but he doesn't understand, because I had Mira come to my house the other day and Mira's confused by the message, and when I listened to Mira speak at the start, I was like, but I understand where she's coming from, because she's probably thinking, oh man, I grew up, I love these guys, and then all of a sudden,
you're talking about Mira May?
Yeah, Mira, incredible girl, incredible human, and I just think, again, she's another young person. I'm just thinking, like maybe the person that I idolize and love so much, they're getting their message so fucked up. It confused me. A little bit fucked up. I had a bit of a mango juice. Man didn't stay. And now man can understand that, bro, I just think you're the wrong spokesperson for this issue. But I like that you're bringing it up. And I like that you're making people conversate about it. Yeah. But if you really want the grime world to have the respect in which it does, what can you do to implement that, irrespective of what someone else is saying? Because if you grow the grime world, and I know it's not easy, I know it's hard, but if you grow it the way you need to grow it, like, who can tell you, who can come into the Halfcast podcast and say to us, Callum runs the show? We'd be like, no, Callum's part of the situation. No one essentially runs the show, more or less, apart from Chucky. It's very clear. We make it very clear here. It's not like something that's confusing. And I just think Wiley doesn't make it. And you don't say anything. You don't come here and say, this is all mine. Like, just everything about you. We respect the position you hold. I respect the position I hold. Callum respects the position he's hold. And we're all here together to make something great. I don't need to be the engine. I can just be the water in the car. I can be the, do you know what I mean? But I still respect the position I have. Do you know what I'm saying? I still have a role to play. I think Wiley needs to make that very clear. That this is the world of grime, or not him, but somebody. This is the world of grime. These are the people that are integral. These are the people that really care about the growth of it. Let's try and help you lot be a part of this, and then, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what though? People, like, this is the thing. People do that. I feel. I think people like talk about Wiley in that regard, and Stormzy does as well. But Wiley does just. He's an outlandish character.
Yeah, but if someone needs to make, and you know what? This is why I wish J2K is the only person, but I know he wouldn't do it, but he's just such a well-articulate man, and he just...
I've got an example.
Amazing. Go.
Boom.
Go,
it's almost like...
Go on.
There's a lot of people who may not understand this equivalent, but it's almost... Imagine, Old Dirty Bastard.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So now, Old Dirty Bastard at a legend is a legend from Wu-Tang, whatever.
Massive
Imagine
legend.
He's like the guy... He's gonna have his moments where he's like he's not gonna move like the guy that we kind of. But you know, if you know him, you just know that this is just what he's like. But there'll be young people that will grow up looking at Old Dirty Bastard and think, "What is this guy on? Like, what is he on?"
But they need to, and like one.
But they still need to understand that he's.
But who's the person that allows them to? Because I'm trying to play that role.
Artists do.
I hope so. I hope they do.
Like peers do. Anytime, like the reality is, The reality is, regardless of anything, and we're doing it now.
Yeah.
Even though we might say Wiley's moving a bit mad here, there, whatever, or what things are a bit off, at the end of it, always say, or even at the beginning, always in every conversation, make it clear, man, respect him to the highest degree.
But Chucky, this is the thing.
And young people that watch this, yeah.
That's the problem. Now, there we go. You've just identified it. That's the problem. Why did you have to say the part at the end?
What's that, the young people?
No.
What? Oh, why do we have to say that?
No. You said the young people, then what did you say?
That watch this.
So if you don't watch this, how many more examples is there for you to go and see that Wiley's the GOAT without you just hearing it from one of your friends? You go on Twitter, everyone takes the piss out of him.
Of course.
Let's just keep it real. Everyone takes the piss out of him. When Wiley does Bossy, I'll promote, oh, he went platinum.
Yeah.
I don't see everyone going platinum.
That's
But
true.
all people do is, whenever Wiley does some bullshit, they'll promote it. So Wiley plays up to that, does more bullshit so you can promote him, so we can go and sell his song. But I ask everyone, I understand the most search things on the net are negative things, but if you want the world to change, you have to ask what contribution are you making.
True.
I kind of want, for example, I just saw four people. Emerald, Novelist.
Oh yes. Cosmic.
Is it Fen?
Fren, I think, or something like that.
Really nice person. Yeah. And is it Nadia J?
Nadia J is already there.
She's
so
already
I don't know
there.
if she was the one who kind of announced it.
I just saw a picture. I'm kind of ignorant to everything.
But yeah,
I
go on.
saw them five.
What is it? What are you talking about so people know what you're talking about?
So basically, I was on Gram yesterday, minding my own business, and I saw that One Extra have given some slots, some residencies to some really, really cool people. And the people I saw, I was like, yo, this is cold.
Yeah.
Like, these are people that I've seen in and around. Emerald, I'll tell you what, she's worked bloody hard, fam. She's worked so fucking hard. She was
Fen.
She's worked, you know what I'm saying? Like, Emerald's worked really hard.
Yeah.
Cosmic's an absolute legend, deserves these opportunities. Novelist, oh my God, I can't even go back to the conversations in New York we had. Like, this is incredible. Like, them people there are so authentically in the scene. I can hopefully trust them to say the right things in communicating a message that we try to communicate. And I brought up that point to say those are the things I like to project. So there's a healthy balance between me promoting bullshit and promoting good things.
And could I also say to you as well, yeah, because this did come up in the conversation that we had before, and it did make me like, Lippy articulated something that I'd been thinking,
amazing.
But I think that it's important for both of us to understand this as well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, as personal and as friends and as business and what we do, yeah, is that like we sit and we have conversations about like our lives and like things that happen within our culture and things that we care about and whatnot, yeah. And it's important for both of us to remember that like there's going to be times where certain things come up, yeah, that we talk about, and like it's important for us to discuss them because we come from it, and if we don't speak about it, then there's people that are not from our world at all that will just be having their take on it, and it's just them. So like, when it comes to stuff like this, we have to discuss it, and it's coming, as far as I'm concerned, it's coming from a place of credibility. So it might be uncomfortable at times, and it might feel like, oh, we're just promoting bullshit or whatever. But our perspective, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, because not everyone's going to agree with everything that we're saying or whatever, yeah. But it's coming from a place of credibility, regardless. And that's why I feel like podcasts like these are super important, and we should never feel like, oh, you know what, like we're just coming here and just fucking perpetuating bullshit.
Tone. Sometimes it's the tone. Sometimes I'm like, I said to someone today, I was on the phone to someone today, and they're like, oh my God, this Wiley and Stormzy thing is so thick and rare. And I was like, yeah, and they're like, oh, why don't you feel like this? And I was like, well, I talked to Wiley on the phone. I've had several conversations with Stormzy. If they had a fight and I was there, I'd probably try and stop it.
Of course.
I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying when I hear the nature of this is, and when I know the people the way in which I do, I'm not saying I know them so well, I'm not going to say that, but I know them well enough to know certain things, and I know situations that I've manifested before prior. If that happened and that was my reality is I have to stop it. Now, I can't laugh at it then, so I'd rather not laugh about it now. I can have a bit of a laugh here and then like I do with most things, but I wouldn't want the premise of my conversation to be the same as a person who knows no one. Because I'm not that person. So I need to understand my role, and it doesn't mean I'm not going to laugh at Wiley. It doesn't mean I'm not going to laugh at Stormzy, but that's not the premise of the conversation. And I think that's what I didn't get across right. But you lot are fully right.
And that's why it's important that you say that. That's why I think it's important that you say that, because it comes from a place of credibility, and it makes people understand certain things, you know? And it makes people understand the tone as well, and why certain conversations go in the direction that it does. If we don't do it and podcasts like this don't do it, then it's left to Sky News.
Oh,
imagine
and that's
that.
why. And you know what it is, and that's one thing I always want to do this year as well. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, I'm just gonna let them know my emotional state at times, so they understand why I'm more excited on a Monday
and why
than
you're
I am
not.
on Thursday.
All right.
Because my life is crazy.
It's a movie.
So if you understand my life's like that,
It's a movie.
you'll be like poets in one of them moods, and I want you to relate that to everyone you now see in life. So if you see Wiley's a little bit like that, maybe this is happening over here, but it doesn't mean that when you meet him next week, he's gonna be that Wiley you saw saying A, B. It's not how it works. Do you know what I mean?
The ABC challenge.
Fam.